Johnson, or you can call me JJ. This is a book review. This is my first book review that's being featured on my martial arts channel. In lieu of this book review, just to let you all know, I am soon to be bringing to life. I've been building a dojo, a small personal garage-like dojo. Nonetheless, what you're going to be seeing, not only Japanese martial arts, Chinese Kung Fu martial arts, you're going to see some Hawaiian stuff, this, that, but Viking stuff as well, guys. As you can see, next to me here, I've been making and putting together a lot of practice weapons, okay? Shields and whatnot, okay? All this stuff. Now, why is because I'm soon to bring to life a lot of techniques from the illustrated guide to Viking martial arts, okay? Now, first off, what I really like about this are obviously illustrated guide, okay? The pictures. You see, they're not even drawings. They're almost like photographs of the author, Anthony, and someone else trying to find the not so brutal, but you know, see, here we go. The author, Anthony Cummings, what he has done is he has gone into the sagas, okay? What the sagas are, they're basically like stories, or like poetic stories, very audacious, gloryful tales of battles, of one person versus another, the life and death of Cormac the Sklad, the story of the Hethsland, the story of the Volslands, the story of the Air Dwellers, the saga of the Greater and Strong, the story of Burnt Njal, saga of Mangus the Blind and of Harald Gil, saga of Sigurd in Sons of Harold, saga of Hencon Pivot, saga this, saga that. So basically right after that you have the sagas, the list of the stories that he has taken these techniques or weapon movements from. They're all very basic movements, such as just strike down, strike up, you know. And then again, there are a few tricks in here which are rather quite tricky and elaborately thought. It goes into a definition of what martial arts, how you think of what martial arts is. Goes into the sword, okay, describing the sword a little bit, you know, describes the shield a little bit, describes the weapons at hand that they're using in that time. It goes into what a Viking is, the definition of a Viking, you know, the time and place. There's a few tricks in here that some people might see as movie-like, not applicable, ineffective, you know, like throwing the sword. Why would you throw your sword away in the middle of a sword fight or a battle or something, you know? You have to remember that some of these techniques, in other words, this technique, that it was taken from a glorified story, a story that is between two people fighting, and more of a singular one-on-one duel type of battling. It wasn't necessarily all front line against front line, a bunch of men. It wasn't Spartan warrior Persian style. So some of the techniques here are, or most of them are, when it's just warrior against warrior, you know, like duel, or just, you know, a fight between two guys, weapons and shields. Axes, there's a lot of axe swinging in here, how to use battle axes, you know, how to use different sword strikes, such as downward cut toward the shoulder, uh, toward the thigh, underneath the shield. There's tricks on using the shield, okay? Throwing the shield or stab, throwing the sword, pummeling with the backhand of the sword, the handle of the sword, bam to the face. Just good old tricks, you know? Now, the proper way to surrender your weapon so that you're not threatening, it goes into spears, you know, but the spears thrown at you, cut the head off, you know, with your sword, tricks like that. Again, here's some, yes, parry, see, person's coming in with the axe, you simply cut the head off the axe, you know, simple, battlefield tricks like this. Not only, so again, he gives where this is from, the saga, tells a little bit of the story, only enough to show you, you know, not to bore you and give you the whole story, but to show you the lines that tell you what's happening. Again, Bob thrusted giant axe here, smashed Joe's shield, and then he gives you the images, the best that they can come up with, which are decent. Again, they're not even just drawings, they're actually photographs, so they're very detailed, and you can actually see what they're talking about. And that's the best part about this book, is it being an illustrated guide, okay, which you can actually take all the techniques from the sagas, or the main, in, I don't want to say more cool, but more interesting and tricky techniques. A lot of this stuff, again, you'll be seeing me actually do and perform in my dojo. Stay tuned on my martial arts channel for that, as well as other things. But nonetheless, this has been a very nice and decent and good book. If you just really want to get into the good old-fashioned sword fighting and shield and sword fighting, but when you really come into the big round shields, Viking fighting is where it's at, because those are the guys that really, really utilize these huge shields like this. And that's the stuff that you're really going to find in this book right here. Viking martial arts. I have to admit, like, you know, did you have to include all the blood, the bloody scenes? You know, look at this. Like, come on. Although that is a great touch, you know. You got the axe swinging through the neck and you got the blood just trailing off. Like, that's a nice touch, guys. Overkill, but a nice touch. Then again, there are some Italian manuals that do show some pokes, like here. Proper way of blocking spears with the shield, things like that. A small, tiny portion of some, you know, unarmed combat, or basically like, you know, the body grappling, things like that. Check it out, guys. Get it. Definitely recommended for your martial arts library. Mind you, I have read a few fencing books and other sword, Viking sword, or just European sword fighting in general. A lot of that stuff